Hi, I'm Coach Amber. Welcome to the MeetRx Success Story Podcast. Today we have a special guest with us, Melissa. Welcome, Melissa.
Thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. So, Melissa, let's dive into it because I know you've got a pretty major story going on here.
I do.
So, tell us, what was your health, your life like prior to a meat-based diet? Give us some info.
Absolutely. What I'd like to convey is the depth and the horror of my sugar addiction, because it wasn't pretty. And I really want others to know this. When I was very young, I lived in New York City in an apartment on West 10th Street with my parents and my sister. And one day I come into the living room, my father's fast asleep on a couch. And I reach into the pocket of his jacket, which was on the floor, and I steal 3 quarters. I convinced my mother to let me sit on the stoop, and I promptly go down to like the lunch counter place, right, on the corner of that street where they have the cash register has candy under it. Do you know what I mean? And I just hand him the money, and I'm like, give me all of it. Give me all of it. I end up with like probably a roll of mint lifesavers. So I'm trotting home. Here comes my mother and my sister coming down the street. And I'm like, I'm caught, right? So I'm throwing the money, on the street. I'm like horrified. The kicker here is I'm 6 years old. Okay, I'm 6 years old. So from there to 18, this was my modus operandi. And this is how I operated. I stole, I cheated, I lied, I begged, borrowed, all of that until I got to work at 18. So this was, a real hardcore part of my life. I was an active sugar addict. So now you fast forward to 1981, and I got my hands on Equal. Do you know what that is? It's a artificial sweetener. And I became a sugar and Equal addict. So there were two both going on at the same time. And by the time I got to, I'm going to say 1984, my daughter was born. I was almost 300 pounds. All right. So, and all I could do was continue to eat sugar. I mean, it was just what kept me alive at that point was eating sugar. Just so many things wrong in my life. Right. At that point, I started to do, or I was in California, came back to New York, and I started a 12-step anonymous program where I white knuckled it down to goal, which I think was like maybe 15 minutes. And I couldn't stay, clean. I just couldn't do it. I went right back to eating sugar. So very much fast forward now to 2016. I'm still around 250 pounds, still eating sugar like, nobody's business. But I was miserable and I wanted an answer really badly. And I just kept searching and kept searching. And somehow I hit Gary Taub's Why We Get Fat, Kelly Hogan's story, zeroing in on health with Dana Spencer and Charles Washington. And of course, then ShawnBaker, World Carnivore Tribe. And my life just sort of exploded. I'm like, okay, that's it. I want to be a carnivore. I'm going to be a carnivore right now. And I tried very hard, but I refused to give up Equal. This was my, just the albatross around my neck. I just would not give up Equal. So now for 3 years between really 2017 and 2020, I ate meat and I ate Equal. So I was meat and then I'd fall back to sugar. And meat and I'd fall back to sugar. 3 years I did this. It was absolutely horrifying. In there, I was diagnosed with endometrial cancer in the middle of this. And I had a full hysterectomy, right? And the doctor said, you have to go on chemo and radiation. And I was not trying to be mean, but I basically told him, no, I'm not doing that. I'm so sorry. I'm going to be a carnivore is what I thought to myself. So I still struggled with this. It was still really, really hard for me until April of last year. So April of 2020, I said, that's it. I'm going to give up the sugar. I'm done. I'm just going to be a carnivore. I don't care what happens. And of course, the cravings kick in. And I finally got the idea from reading, everybody, online, they're not eating equal, and they don't have cravings. Oh, maybe I should give up the equal. So on June 3rd of 2020, I gave up equal. And let me tell you something, it was life-changing. I don't even know how to tell people this. It was day and night. I woke up the next day and I couldn't find a craving to save my life. I mean, this was literally black and white. I thought something was wrong with me. Like, how is this even possible? I'm walking around the house saying, there's nothing calling my name. And I just, jaw drop. So I just kept going, obviously I didn't want to go back to equal. That was the problem. So I went on and went on. So now it's 9 months. I can't find a craving still to save my life. I watch my husband eating crap, things I would normally have died for. I would have taken from him and eaten in front of him. I mean, it was awful how bad I was. I mean, I'd come down in the middle of the night and steal his birthday cake, that kind of thing. But now I had no desire for it. And I know that in the past, in reading through these, like Zeroing In on Health, other people would say, you really got to give it up. It's not good for you. But as an addict, Amber, as an addict, what I hear is, it's no good for you. Well, of course it's not good for you. Nothing's good for me. I don't, who cares? I just didn't hear it's going to keep you going back to sugar. That's what I didn't hear. That's what I didn't get. But that is, in fact, what happened. I kept being dragged back into sugar. And when I finally gave it up, it was like, I can't even tell you how ridiculously life-changing this was for me. After 58 years, I'm 65 now, 58 years of being a sugar addict to no longer even wanting it, no longer even caring about it. I can see it, I can smell it, I can look at it, I can do, I can walk down the candy aisle of CVS with no problem. I mean, that never happened before, okay? And that's really what happened to me. I feel like, that the heavens opened up and I was saved. And it's really absolutely crazy. So now, I mean, at some point, I had very bad arthritis in my knees. I told you about the cancer. I had a lot of back pain, and I had a lot of, coming and going, I had a lot of incontinence too. And that just, all of it completely is fine. I have no cancer. I have no back pains, no knee pains. I have tons of energy. I have, seriously and honestly, I don't want to say that I'm never hungry, because obviously I do get hungry every now and then, but it's not the same. I have to eat everything that it used to be. I have to eat the entire kitchen. Now, I don't really, I don't know. It feels like I went from being an abnormal person to a normal person. That's how I feel. That's basically the synopsis of my story.
Well, Melissa, I'm just going to tell you, as a former sugar addict, I endorse what you said. And I think the word you're looking for is freedom.
Yes.
Freedom. Yes.
Absolutely. Yes. Total freedom.
Okay, let me just ask one thing real quick. Okay, you mentioned, you had some pain and obviously the cancer and the sugar addiction. Were you ever diagnosed with anything like high blood sugar or anything like that?
Only high blood pressure, which was somewhere around 2018. And they were like, I'm going to put you on medicine. I'm like, no. I'm going to be a carnivore. And of course, for the next few months, I was a carnivore, and it came right down. So now it's totally normal, of course, because I've been, it's 9 months. So I've been totally, carnivore for 9 months. It's not an issue. But what surprised me was more the back pains, which everyone's like, oh, you must have moved funny. Oh, you must have lifted something. Oh no, I was constantly having back pains. And when I went pure carnivore, they went away. I mean, I don't have back pain anymore at all. And that was shocking to me. I didn't somehow expect that. I mean, I knew that I had arthritis in my knees. I knew that was, probably going to go. as I had read other people's stories, right? So I figured that would go. But the shocking thing was not having the back pain. I was like, this is so nice. Absolutely so nice. I eat primarily prime strip steaks. I do not hold back on the money. All my extra money goes to meat. So I get the best that I can. I'm very much into that. I do eat hamburgers every now and then, but I primarily will eat strip steaks and, lamb, ate a lot of lamb, lamb chops, lamb shoulder roast, I'll eat. I don't eat so much pork just because I don't think it agrees with my skin. For some reason, I do have skin issues with it, so I don't personally go there. I love butter. I love butter. It's not good. It's just an obsession of mine. Butter is fantastic. I do eat a little bit of heavy cream. We're talking about 2 tablespoons a day. I'm not going crazy on the heavy cream because I know that it would probably stop my weight loss. I have lost 45 pounds so far in the 9 months. I would like to lose another 55. I'm not there yet. It's a process. Obviously, it's going to take a while. Considering the damage I've done to my body in 58 years or so, it's not surprising. It's going to take a while for my body to heal. But I eat when I'm hungry. I don't eat cheese. That's the one thing I don't do, because every time I eat cheese, I want more. And I'm thinking that's just not healthy for some reason. That's just not, not the way I want to go with this. I keep saying someday if I get down to gold, maybe I'll have cheese, but we'll see. I don't know. But primarily I eat strip steaks and I eat them for breakfast. I don't fool around. I'm hungry. I'm eating a strip steak. I don't care what time it is. But then I try not to eat when I'm not hungry. I try to just keep it to when I'm hungry. So, and that seems to have worked so far. I'm really pleased. I was an 18W. I'm now in a size 14. So that's that's been a really good thing.
That's awesome. So, did you have any transitional issues when you started moving more towards meat-based?
I had what I would call a typical, keto flu / sugar withdrawal. It lasted 3 days exactly. And I always, I've been through it many, 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 many times. So to me, the best way to approach that is to drink a lot of water. I think that helps. I don't know, but for me, it seemed to help to drink a lot of water in those days, and to eat as much meat as you need, right? Don't hold back on that. Like just, even though I wasn't really feeling that great for 3 days, I could live through it, but that was it. I didn't do the slow thing. I didn't try to eat other things and meat. No, I don't like other things, to tell you the truth. All I like is sugar. So I just ate meat. And of course, your body's like, where is my candy bar? And I'm like, sorry, it's not happening. So I don't think that I did a big transitional change like some people do. I just really went straight meat and suffered for 3 days. Wasn't
not too bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all, actually. Good for you. Okay, now you have talked some about the improvements that you've noticed, but if you wouldn't mind just kind of briefly doing like a laundry list of things you've noticed, and I'm kind of curious, where are you at with the cancer issue?
There's none in me. I was rechecked. There's nothing in me. The cancer issue was, the doctor said it's possible, quote, they got it all, because, they won't give me any credit. But so that was just, nothing happened after the surgery. I was fine. I don't know that I would have been, though, had I kept eating sugar. I'm very honest with you. I have a feeling that I would not have done so well. But I was really working on trying to eat as much meat as I could. And the other thing is, I had a lot of arthritis in my knees. I had a hard time getting upstairs. I really, that is just gone. I mean, I just fly up the stairs. I have no problems at all. I'm not walking as much as I wish I would, because I do a business in my home that kind of keeps me here. So it's harder for me to get out. I'm hoping that I can make some changes on that, and when the weather gets a little bit nicer, because I would like to walk. I really would. I think that's really a good thing to do. And I'm sure my body would love it. The other thing is that I had incontinence, you know, as a 65-year-old, you know, I think that just happens. But when I went meat, it's just gone. I don't have any issues at all right now, none. So that's gone. And also I was just always tired. Of course, the sugar just, you know, put me under the ground. You know, by 3 o'clock, I was not functioning very well. So now I don't have that at all. It's, you know, I have a lot of energy. I have some to spare. I mean, it's really nice. You know, right now as a 65-year-old, I mean, I'm just looking forward to having, you know, a pain-free life and hopefully every day a little bit healthier life. That's what, if I could say anything to anyone who's a sugar addict, you know, there's a lot of hope out there. I wish I had known about this in my 20s. I wish. Yep, I wish. I mean, I spent a lot of my life in pain, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally, just constantly wanting an answer and not getting it, other than the typical, you know, calorie in, calorie out diet. You know, I just had nowhere to go with this. And Gary Taubes was one of the first ones that opened my eyes with, you know, Why We Get Fat. And I read that book and I went, oh my gosh. I mean, I was in a lot of shock. And then of course I went online, and then of course the world just exploded for me. But yeah, I just see my life going forward as truly something to look forward to, versus where I was, you know, where I didn't look forward to anything. And, you know, Dr. ShawnBaker, who originally had, it was called meatheals.com. I'm sure you remember that. And then we moved over to MeetRX. And of course there was the World Carnivore Tribe, which was fascinating because, you know, what are there now, like 50,000 members? It's just absolutely fabulous. I just love it. You know, the world is there for you to learn from, you know, if you want to. He has done so much work on this. Now, I have not been an active participant in MeetRXcom, even though I am a member. What I'm going to tell you, Amber, why I love it is because that's sort of a safe space. You know, if you're a carnivore and you just want to surround yourself with other carnivores, please go there, okay? Because unfortunately, and I'm not going to put down anybody's, you know, Facebook page or whatever, do you know what I mean? I don't want to put anybody down, but unfortunately, sometimes people get off track. And for me, that's not a safe space. I don't want to hear about how people are cheating. I don't want to hear about, you know, what you have planned for the holidays. That's not my thing. I really, you know, I like to hear other people supporting each other. Obviously, it's very important. But I love that at MeetRx.com, that is where you can go if you want to be with your sisters and brothers in this way of eating and this way of life, you know, and I really deeply appreciate it. And that's why I'm a member, more because I want to support that, you know, than that I need to get involved so much, you know. I would get involved if I had to, but the truth is I financially support it because I think that that's the right thing to do, because I'm a carnivore and I want other carnivores to be there if I need them, that kind of thing, you know.
That's beautiful. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I do think that MeetRx is such an amazing platform. So I appreciate that you said that. And I also totally get the whole sugar dragon thing going on. So I appreciate that you came on and you shared that with us too, because I think a lot of people struggle with the same issue. And to hear that there is actual hope is a really good thing. So again, I thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely. You're very welcome. I enjoyed this. I've always wanted to tell my story because it's important to hear that equal and artificial sweeteners are not necessarily just quote unquote bad for you, but that are holding you back from your life. That's huge. I didn't get that, you know, unfortunately, or I didn't want to get that, but I didn't get that. And so I want to be very clear with other people that, you know, you need to give that up and fast if you want the freedom that you talked about, which I think is the absolute perfect word. I have total freedom now. It is lovely.
I understand that. Yes. That is my most favorite word when I try to explain it. Freedom. Yep. So I am thrilled that you achieved that, because there is nothing worth tasting that feels better than that, being free from that addiction. Yep. So kudos to you. And again, Melissa, thank you so very much for coming on our podcast.
Thank you.
Bye, Melissa.
Bye-bye. Take care.
You too.